Taylor Craig.
I'm Ryan Keelan.
I'm Alex Wiesa.
And welcome to an episode of the
Pucking
Panthers
Podcast.
We don't give a puck.
And I have no voice.
It's pretty rough game 3. That was real tough. Last time you saw us was before the series started, but game 1
We've
was
aged a few years from stress.
I'm growing my beard.
and this is actually a beard I'm trying to grow right now. If you notice how pitiful it is.
Mine is very patchy, but we have a player that's leading the NHL in playoff points.
And that's Reilly Smith. He's tearing it up right now in these first games. 3 games, 8 points, 4 goals, 4 assists. If you look in game 3, Jágr, towards the end of it, definitely looked fatigued. He definitely looked tired.
He missed the back check on
He
Hayden.
did.
Yeah.
He did.
That would have stopped that goal.
It led to the overtime goal.
He was already. It was again another one like that in that game 1 where the puck came out and it seemed that I think it was their third goal. It was the goal that Tavares had in game 1, and it seemed that everyone was ready to come out of the zone because they thought that we had possession of the puck. And that's you see Jágr, he's already skating to the blue line, and then all of a sudden he started skating back when he realized that, I don't know who passed it out, one of the Islanders passed it out right to Hickey, who started bolting to the net.
Yeah.
Both
defensemen.
Both
too.
defensemen were also in the corner.
Yeah.
And no one was in front of the net. He was left alone. And there was that's a 50% chance to score there.
Yeah. It's like we're thinking we have the puck and everyone's just ready to bolt out of the zone. You can't do that. You have to be hesitant back. You have to kind of keep your head in defense. You can't just be ready to go out.
I mean, so it's clear that he was tired. That he wasn't keeping up.
You could tell.
And one of my questions is, do you think that has more to do with 3 games in 4 days, or do you think it has more to do in that particular game with overtime?
Probably overtime.
Everything.
And honestly, I think the Islanders are seriously exhausting Jágr because they are completely all over him.
They are.
I mean, before the series even started, when I was reading up on the series and seeing what people had to say, they were basically putting the series up against Tavares versus Jágr. They were putting Jágr as the only player on the Panthers, basically, and Tavares is the only player on the Islanders that you have to watch out for. And it seems that we're pretty on Tavares. I mean, he has a lot of goals, but I mean, we're not as on him as they are on Jágr. And I mean, I guess with Jágr's age combined with people just completely dominating him, just all around him, just stopping him doing anything, it's not working. Yeah, Tavares can get around that.
I'd say it's everything. It's 3 games in 4 days. That's a lot. It's his age and it's the overtime. That's tough for anyone.
Yeah. I mean, even Luong.
And they're all their body. They keep hitting them. Their body that wears you down.
I mean, how many times in this season have we seen Jágr actually on the ice, on the floor, down?
Yeah.
Once maybe in the season?
He's always been great at
twice already this year that he's been knocked down to his ass.
Yeah.
Like bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's usually good at eluding checks.
They're on him like crazy. They are really just on him.
Yeah. They're not giving him any handicap.
Well, it's very surprising.
That's their game plan, and they're executing it.
It's very surprising, though, that Barkov and Huberdeau are not able to take advantage of that, because usually during the season, you see when players are going to Jágr, they're taking advantage of that. They're getting the puck, and they're getting wide-open shots,
Well, in the overtime, Huberdeau had 4 shots on goal.
Right in his chest.
I mean, he did. I know. He wasn't trying anything new. That was probably a perfect example. Probably led to why Jágr was tired, was because the Islanders were on top of him, and as a result, another result was that Huberdeau had so many chances.
The first line, they haven't. When's the last time they haven't been productive-ish in 3 games?
Don't mess with that.
The whole year. They're gonna go. They're gonna get going before they're gonna get knocked out, or they're gonna get going. Either one, or they'll get going next season. But they have to do it next game, or they're done. Yeah. That's their main thing.
You would not consider drawing back Jágr at all?
Wait, you're talking about the
first line? Yeah.
Oh, because I was going to say, I mean, if I would consider moving lines around, if it really gets serious in the game, Game 4 is a huge game in my eyes. If we lose that game, I just can't see us coming back 3-1. I see that as an over series, basically. I mean, it could happen. We've seen crazier things happen in the playoffs and anything. I mean, we were huge favorites.
I don't know if we're playing the Sharks, but
Bukestad, Smith, and Jokinen are working perfectly together. Do not mess that up, because they're getting all your points right now.
The offense is basically. The offense is clicking. That's not the problem. Kindle, maybe put Kindle back in there for Game 4.
Yeah,
do something out. Yeah. Take Petro out.
Petro is not ready for the for the NHL playoffs, and it's sad that Michael Matheson, a guy who's 22 years old, who's only played 5 freaking games in his life at an NHL level, and he played a lot better than Petrovic.
He keeps getting twisted around, Petro.
Yeah.
That's
Petro,
the second
he's
time
ruining it.
last night was he got completely twisted around. The first one was when he actually put his stick behind. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
He got so I think it was Tavares, and then he passed. No, somebody didn't pass it to Tavares for that goal. He actually spun around and put his stick behind his back, like, because he was so
twisted
confused.
up.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
I think
we're seeing problems with him at the end of the season, and it's just like intensifying now in the playoffs.
I think Petrovic is bringing an offensive element because he's getting some shots on net, but when it's coming to defense, he's falling behind.
Smith's first goal in Game 3 was
because of Petrovic.
So Petrovic putting it on net and getting that rebound.
Yeah.
Smith getting the rebound.
Just something he did a bit in the regular season.
Since we're talking about defensemen, I'd love to bring up Dmitry Kulikov, 3 assists and a goal.
I mean, you need a defenseman to step up right now.
Yeah,
and Kulikov is doing
We need another one. Ekblad, he needs to get some points. He needs a.
He did have a goal.
I know he needs a. Somebody needs a big goal, and then I feel Ekblad can come through.
That got called off with that.
Because it's 1 inch. Because it's 1 inch off. I mean,
read the whole book.
Yeah,
it was like
of course.
It was like a hair.
I know, we all have our opinions about the offsides rules, so I'll keep that to myself. Speaking of defense, you're right. Offense is clicking. Defense is something that really needs to be looked at. Campbell, our most reliable defenseman this entire season, I think we can all agree on that, is not looked good when being one-on-one with Tavares. Not many people can look
You're right.
at that.
He's looked like an average defenseman.
He hasn't looked as responsible and reliable as he's proven to be before. I think he might have to reassess how he plays Tavares, but man, there's 2 instances.
I think our whole team has to reassess how we play Tavares in that line because they are walking all over us. Every time they're on the ice, I am frightened. Literally frightened. Like, I don't care about any of their other lines. Whenever that line is on the ice, I am just like frightened and I am expecting them to tie it up or something because, I mean, I say tie it up because we are always in the freaking lead in all of these games.
Yeah.
Except for the third period of the Game 1.
Why are we blowing the leads?
This is Pucking Questions from Twitter, and now we're going to answer them.
Playoff Pucking Questions.
Pucking Playoff Questions. One of them from Dutchbeak asks, is my wife ever going to come back to me?
No.
My wife left me.
She left you.
She left you.
Get over it, man.
It happens.
Project 305 asks, why can't the Cats keep a lead? And why do special teams suck?
I mean, we were expecting, I think anyone who looked at the stats would expect that the special teams would be a big problem.
We saw with the special teams that, like, the statistics going into the playoffs, the Islanders were top 5 in both categories. The Panthers were not anywhere near where you should be for a playoff team in special teams, so we had to stay out of the box. We've had trouble doing that. You can blame the refs, you can blame whoever you want, but we haven't stayed out of the box.
That clipping penalty,
Kulikov
to Martin.
Yeah, Martin I don't know how that can be considered clipping. With clipping, the rule being that if you hit somebody at their knees or below their knees, that's clipping. Did it remind you of the Sagan clipping?
No.
Called for? No, not at all.
That play was lit. The Panthers are second in the playoffs in Corsi, and then the Islanders are in second to last. That's 5-on-5.
Yeah,
so their special teams are killing us. That's what it shows.
Yeah.
But 5-on-5, we're dominating.
Yeah.
When it comes to special teams,
all our goals.
Nothing's happening.
But I was talking about the special teams hurting us or whatever, and then to answer the other part of that question with the why we're blowing leads and stuff.
Yeah.
Something that I didn't put into consideration, none of us did. I mean, looking on paper in the playoff preview episode, looking on paper, we have the absolute better team. I mean, we look better against them in every game almost, but the thing that we're lacking is experience. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have a lot of experience. We do have Luongo, we do have Yager, we do have Campbell, you know what I mean? But the thing is that we have players we have 8 players, or I guess 7, not counting Trocheck.
But including Matheson.
Including Matheson. So we have about 8, 7, 9 players, whatever, somewhere around there, with total inexperience. Our top players like Barkov, Hubert are not stepping up. Bukestad has been getting 2 goals. You know, he's doing good.
He's looked really good.
Smith is stepping up, but Smith has experience in the playoffs with the Bruins. He does have a lot of experience with them. And the thing is that, I mean, the Islanders are not a team that are exploding with experience in the playoffs, but they have been in the playoffs the last couple of years a couple times. You know, they've had heartbreaking Game 7 losses to Washington just a year ago. They've had not been able to get out of the first round with Tavares, you know, a couple times. So they have that experience of going through this and having their heart like ripped out of their chest, you know what I mean?
As a result, do you think the Islanders are the hungrier team?
Yeah, I think that I did not put this into consideration, and it makes me scared that I thought we would get out of this series pretty easily. I thought maybe even with you, I was agreeing a little bit that 5 games could be possible.
But do you know what the Panthers...
could be possible, but 6 games looked really real to me, and I didn't put in inexperience to our top young players at all into consideration.
Okay, we have inexperience, but you know what we've been preaching all year? Leadership. Mm-hmm. And when you don't have experience, that's when the leaders need to step up. Yep. Where's the leadership? Where's Coach Gallant? We go up by 2, we blow the lead. We go up, we blow the lead. In the one game, we went up again, blew the lead. Went up again, blew the lead. They won't close it out.
Mm-hmm. You want to
in the playoffs, you got to close it out.
You want to talk about tired? In overtime, we didn't even play our 4th line at all. And that could lead to why Jágr was tired.
Exactly.
Their Islanders, their coach is running their 4th line because they have a 4th line that could produce potential. We have Wilson and Thornton.
That just hope they prevent.
What is that supposed to be? Even when McKenzie was there, there's nothing. This is why I've been saying I want Howden there. Howden has speed. Howden has skill. Some skill. Yeah. Howden is not Thornton, who's slow and has absolutely no skill. He's not McKegg, who when the puck touches his stick, there's 0 chance of offense.
When our 4th line comes out, it's to prevent the other team from scoring and hit, so we get momentum. You can't do that in overtime.
I gotta say, I'm not that impressed with Thornton. He hasn't really hit that much I see McKenzie.
I haven't been impressed all season.
Okay, if you want to,
I've been impressed in 2 seasons.
All right, if you want to talk about how we can amend the 4th line, you got to look at a recent call-up we made with Logan Shaw. Okay. We also have Howden there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're looking at McKegg, Howden, and Shaw, that could be a potential 4th line we could throw out there. Sure. But when you're going against Cizikas, Martin, Clutterbuck, those are guys that will get into the offensive zone. The 4th line's job, and they're playing their 4th line against our top line. The 4th line's job is to get that puck deep, have the goalie cover it, so the offensive line can come in for an offense.
But sometimes Gallant puts, in game 1, Gallant put the 4th line out with 12 minutes left in the offensive zone when we were down by 1. What is Gallant doing? For our Gallant, no spine. Like, come on. Where's the leadership anywhere? Shut the game out. Let's go.
Do you think it's maybe because we lack leadership on? You want to see a guy like Jokinen maybe step up more?
Anyone at this point. Yeah. It's unacceptable to blow leads like that in the playoffs after you've done it. You did it against the Islanders earlier in the season. They blew a 2-goal lead. Yeah. And then they blew 3 leads in one game. And then last night was terrible.
We won game 2. We didn't blow any lead. We were up 2-0. It became 2-1, and we ended up getting the empty netter 1-3-1. And game 1 and game 3, we blew. Was there a 2-goal lead in game 1?
No, it was one. Every time it was one.
Yeah, in game 1, they tied it up every time we got a score. In game 3, they tied it up when we were up by 2. We could be up 3-0 in this series right now, potentially, if we could just not blow those leads.
You save one of those leads. It's 2-1, and we're up 2-1 in the series. We're going to game
3-0. You know?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if we save just one of those, we're up 2-1 going into game 4 in Brooklyn, and it's not a do or die game. Yeah. Now it's a do or die game. You're honestly, down 3-1. You're not. It's tough
for sure. All I'm saying is that somebody does have to step up. You're going to see in the next couple of games. I think you're going to find either one of Jokinen, unlikely to be Jokinen, but McKenzie, maybe even Thornton are going to rip into their team. They got to have somebody to light them up. I mean, these timeouts, at some point in the locker room, someone's got to step up. If you don't have your captain on the ice, maybe that's something that's really hurting this team as far as you were talking about leadership.
He's in the locker room. I'm sure he's in the locker room during intermission.
But I mean, how much can you, when you're not even on the ice, how much can you be like, oh, you need to do this better, you need to do this better? And he's like, everyone would be like, nah, man, you weren't out there.
We're talking about Goodbranson being captain next year. Yeah. He's out there on the ice.
Yeah, he's got to step up.
All the guys with A's on their shirts are on the ice. We have a few of those, so I don't understand what it is. Mm-hmm. Just preserve the lead. I understand penalties. Kill the penalty. You got to do whatever you can in the playoffs, or you're going home and you're done.
There's nothing you can really do when the refs are literally out to get you.
No,
calling you for the stupidest penalties, and then there's 3 blatant calls that should go your way that are not called, like trips on on Smith at one time, a hook on Bukestad, I think there was. I don't. It's just. That's something that you can't control, and you can't blame the rest.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to them, to other teams. It's gonna happen to us.
It hasn't been happening so far. Trocheck has been skating on Monday. Gallant said that he was skating, and he said that as soon as he gets word from the trainers to know if he can be part of a full practice, he's gonna jump him in there. And I think honestly, if he can, I mean, I hate to say throw him out there with an injured foot, but probably throw him out there with an injured foot.
Better buy a bigger size skates and wrap that.
For game 4, I mean, if he can skate out there and he's not wincing in pain and he can actually get a good speed and everything and he can be able to still take a shot. Because, I mean, you need your foot to take shots. You know, you need your feet.
That is going to dramatically change the lineup. Because you're kicking the keg out.
Exactly. You know, putting McKenzie back down there, Bukestad back with them, or even if Bukestad is amazing with them and
Bukestad's been playing well.
Put Trocheck with Hoodler and Purcell and see what happens, or maybe switch it around.
Honestly, I feel comfortable in either combination.
Here's a hot take. Here's a hot take.
Sure.
What do you think about? Sure, like your piss is gonna be.
No, I'll allow it.
All right. What do you think about Trocheck since he's a pest covering Tavares and trying something new? Just shadowing him. I know
that would be what would happen because we've been putting our second line against them.
The thing that I've seen, the problem I've seen with a guy like Campbell trying to cover Tavares is that Tavares is insanely strong. He's a really strong guy. He's quick, but he's really getting position with muscle. The only goal in Game 2 by the Islanders was from Tavares, and it's a good example of how Campbell gets worked off the puck by Tavares. Campbell has not been known for his physical play, but he's usually been reliable. He just wasn't strong enough to cover him.
Yeah.
I don't know if Trocheck is a guy that is strong enough to cover him.
Right.
I don't know who you put on him, but it's maybe Bukestad. I don't know who is going to be strong enough because Bukestad's been using his body more.
But he's going to get lost with the speed there.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? Positioning can make up for that.
That's tough. Tavares is dangerous.
He is. Tavares is a riddle. But I mean, you know what? They got a strong first line. They got a strong fourth line. In the middle is where we got to attack. I think that's where you put your top line out. But you know what? I got to give the Islanders credit because they're fighting like crazy.
Yeah.
I think Game 4 is going to be a big game, and I think no matter what. I think this series is going to go to 7 games. I think this is a real tough series, tooth and nail. Every game has been close, even though we're down by a score of 2-1. It's such a simplistic way to put it. But these teams are close every game. Every game is tough, even Game 2.
And we showed we could do it in Game 2. I mean,
there's
no reason why we should be blowing these leads.
They're more you can tell they're a more talented team, but they're just not. They're not, and the other thing, Grice is making clutch saves.
Yeah, Grice is
when it matters most, he's making the saves.
Patrick Wolf asks, Pucking questions, how do we bounce back and win this series? Trocheck could potentially have the practice on Tuesday, in the morning skate on Wednesday. Yeah, and that's a big gain for Game 4. And then, say you win Game 4, that's a lot of momentum going home. Yeah, for the Game 5.
Just win.
We have to win these next. We have to win the next 2 games.
Get home ice, then go from there. You just gotta fight.
People say that in sports, or just anything in life, really, you learn a lot from when you have a really bad loss. Game 3 could be said to be that. You know what I mean? I mean, you can say that really lit a fire under us. Or it completely deflated us, losing that game, giving up 2 goals, and then losing in overtime. And an overtime loss is bad, and an overtime loss in the playoffs is probably the worst thing that a hockey player can go through.
Yeah.
That is horrible. Yeah. And, I mean, I hope what they take from that is a lot of just passion and hate and heart. We like to say heart. And they really go into these next 2 games and just blow it out because you know they can.
Yeah.
If we stay out of the box, you know we can blow it out of the water.
They're not concerned. They know they can win this series, but they're just not doing it.
Win the games. We're just not doing it because we're doing stupid mistakes. Yeah. We're letting our emotions get us maybe and making little mistakes that the Islanders are just pouncing on every single one of them. They are very opportunistic.
Yeah.
These first 3 games, they are making all their chances count, literally.
In the playoffs.
And that could be luck, that could be anything. It
doesn't, in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. There's 7 games. The Capitals could lose to the Fly. I know they're not going to. The best team in the playoffs could lose to the worst team in the playoffs. And it doesn't matter. You could be more talented. You lose 4, you're done. The Panthers are more talented They're just not getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, if there hasn't been a fire lit under their ass,
It has to be.
Losing in overtime in Game
that's-
3 has to have started
Has to
something.
They're like,
That's
hey,
the goals.
we got to
Yeah.
rise up one more notch and get it done.
Yeah.
Win next game, win the next one, go
Yeah.
into Brooklyn Game 6.
They got to be
And then
feeling
so
the
I can
pressure.
go. Yeah.
It was a good point you made about the advanced statistics, where you're saying that 5-on-5 Corsi were dominating.
They're dominating.
Our shot attempts are blowing them out of the water
Yeah.
in 5-on-5. So
And they're not bad shots.
Yeah.
They're not all bad shots.
Yeah.
We're getting some snipes right in front of the net.
and I think we have a very talented defensive core.
Yep.
But these guys need to show up.
They got to do it.
Yeah, I think the 2 days off is going to be big for this team. Because not only do we have the young guys, but we have the old guys. You know, in the old guys like Yager and Luongo, they need this time. So
Yager ain't taking it. He's working out as we speak.
yeah, and we got a pucking question from Reddit, the subreddit Florida Panthers, and Papi Chulo 666 asks how. Oh, okay. I'm not answering that.
I don't want to be cursed or something.
How important is it to win Wednesday night?
It's everything.
Monumental. If we win Wednesday night, as we were saying,
You have home ice again.
a lot of momentum going into Game 5, and we need it. It's a necessary win. I don't see us coming back from 3-1.
I know. If you lose, I mean, think of it like in these terms. If you lose Wednesday night, you basically give Islanders home ice advantage, and you are left with literally making no mistakes for the rest of the playoffs if you want to get to the second round.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you have to win this game.
So from the Pucking Panthers podcast, I'm Taylor Craig.
I'm Ryan Keelan.
I'm Alex Suisa,
And
we
we'll
better get a win.
Yeah, Game 4, here we come. Better watch it.
I don't want to.